Hello, my name is Carmen Davenport from Black Dollar Indie, and you have tuned in to Get the Bag, Business, Assets, and Gains, where we talk to local businesses about their journey, some challenges, and successes. Today we have with us Mr. and Mrs. David and Jennica Anderson of S.E.A Leaders Incorporated. Hello. Power couple of the year. Power couple of the year. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. So before we get started, I always ask the guests, I'd like to talk about the person behind the product or service. Just a little bit about the person behind the product or service. So tell us who David and Jennica is.
I am a Leo. I am the definition, the picture of a Leo.
Oh,
I am
okay.
very laid back. I'm just another person. I love people. I don't know. I have a lot of kids.
Really?
I do. No, seriously. I have 4 boys, so it's busy. It's a big part of who I am right now.
All
but
boys.
I'm going to college, so it's a journey.
All boys.
And a business owner.
Okay. That's a lot of energy going on in the house.
Right. You always say you can
And who's David?
I like to call myself the laid back life of the party.
Huh? Is that right? What does that even mean, David?
You never know what's going to come from me.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I'm just.
Okay. Well, I like that because that means that the support that you give each other is probably amazing, and we'll talk a little bit about that too.
Yes.
So the first question is, what is S.E.A Leaders? I know the S, the E, and the A stands for something, right?
Yes. So the C stands for Service, Experience, Accountability Leaders. And I actually got it from the C. So when I love acronyms.
Okay.
So when I thought about what I wanted our organization to represent, I wanted to bridge the gap between consumers and small businesses, just like the sea connects large bodies of water to land.
I love that.
So then I thought of acronym to go with it.
Okay. So that's where it came from. And then tell us what you do at S.E.A Leaders. Take everybody through a journey, right? You started with S.E.A Leaders Incorporated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some pivoting and some transitioning or additions or changes, right? Just take us on the journey. Tell us about S.E.A Leaders Incorporated and how S.E.A Leaders Institute came about. Just take us through that journey.
Yes, we started out as a LLC, just focused on educating on customer service and customer experience. I had already been in leadership and operations for about 13 years when I started. And the amount of small businesses that were rising in the community were increasing, but the service level was just not there. And I realized it was a lack of education, a lack of leadership. People were fleeing corporate world because they didn't want to follow the rules, but didn't understand that they needed them and why they needed them. So David told me, "We'll do something to fix it." So we was outside on the patio. I got my laptop. I was like, "What's this business gonna be called?" So that's literally how it started.
Wow.
And we operated like that for until last year. But I had an idea of starting a nonprofit. I didn't know what it looked like for probably the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of a nonprofit is like, it's nonprofit. But then I had to think about it. Your work is mission driven. And
yes,
that doesn't necessarily pay the bills. So all the work that I did was consuming myself in the community and educating the community because that's what I love doing. That was the mission. I'm like, if that's the mission, we have to go with the nonprofit. And then we can create a sector that focuses on corporations and providing those soft skill training so that are like, in customer service on the phones that'll actually pay the bill.
I got you.
So it was me coming to the realization that my why is heavily rooted in mission work.
Mm-hmm.
So it was only right to found a nonprofit. But I also have bills to pay. And I'm really good at training and what I do in corporate America. I didn't have a problem in corporate America. So that sector focuses more on the corporate side.
Okay.
Corporate development.
Okay. So we have our for-profit, which is the S.E.A Leaders Incorporated. Mm-hmm. And then we have S.E.A Leaders Institute, which is the nonprofit.
Yes.
And so the nonprofit is you're focusing more on.
So, C Leaders Training Institute focus on workforce development and entrepreneur development. It still focuses on customer service and customer experience, but it's educating our community on what customer experience is. And as entrepreneurs, how do you establish that in your business? How do you use that to scale your business? Those type of things that we don't necessarily know, but also the workforce. Entry level workforce and customer service, teaching them about emotional intelligence, trauma informed, trauma informed. What does trauma look like? Why do you respond the way you do in customer service scenarios? So customer service facing roles, customer facing roles. So we do both.
Okay. Nice. I like that. Congratulations on the nonprofit extension, by the way. So what challenges did you face? Like just in general, especially moving into nonprofit, right? I've got my for-profit going, and now I want to start the nonprofit, and I want to get this. Like, what are some of the challenges that you think are, really out there that people don't realize are challenges when you're trying to start a nonprofit?
I'm gonna give you a couple. The first one is transition as a founder and CEO is delegation. I feel like the level of delegation when you are truly serving the community and trying to do it right is different. Like, we belong to the community, so our board makes the decisions, and I'm like, this is what's happening. I mean, they're like, dial it back. I'm like, okay. Okay, my bad. This is an idea. What do y'all think? So that is really hard. I'm still working on that.
Okay.
So that delegation is different. But it also requires me to think about what our community is actually facing. So I just got my trauma informed certification, so we can add that in there because we don't know why we respond the way we respond to things, but a lot of it is trauma. So we need to learn what trauma looks like, so we can learn how to react to it before we can even teach about emotional intelligence and how to handle things. So they have to be aware.
Okay.
So.
And then the emotional intelligence side, you hear a lot of that when people talk about relationships, right? Male, female relationships, but you talked about it in a different sense. So how does emotional intelligence play into the customer experience?
So the biggest part is personal awareness. I mean, you have to be aware of yourself and your triggers so you can know how you react to other people. Before you can be aware of others, which is the other part of emotional intelligence, you have to be aware of yourself.
Okay.
And what triggers you? How do you respond to things? Why do you respond that way? And then you can learn, how to respond to other people. So a lot of people focus on that second part, how to respond to other people, when you don't even know why you're responding the way you're responding. So it's not natural for you to do.
Right.
So when you become an entrepreneur, you go with what you know.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And listen, since he got the party started, right? Because you were complaining and he jumped in and said, hey, then do something about it, right? So we don't want to forget about the man that got the ball rolling, right? So what is the target audience for C Leaders Institute? Like, who is it that you're serving when in the institute?
Literally the community. People who are just starting, trying to get those, and we also started the teenagers.
Okay.
So the teenagers, we want to get them young so they know how to do what they need to do.
Okay. Okay. And is there an age limit or range? Like, so is it literally 13, like all your teens, 13 to 18?
So we started 14. We take mature 13, but I think 14 is a good age. It's a little less hormonal for one. But for two, I think at 14, you've already started to have that outside world influence you more. So middle school is when they really go crazy, and I think we do a lot of work that's fun in our our workshops with teenagers. We play a lot of ride wave because they don't even be knowing what they be doing listening to. But no, we pick it apart. So all of our teens love it. We meet them where they are. So I think them understanding the same things we do with the dogs, understanding their triggers. What makes you mad?
Okay.
Why does it make you that mad?
Okay.
Now we can talk about how you can handle it.
Are you ready for food, fun, music, and networking? Well, Edna Martin Christian Center is hosting its 2025 Entrepreneurship Showcase, May 17th from 11 to 4 at the Frederick Douglass Park Family Center, 1616 East 25th Street. It is free, absolutely free to the community, and multiple vendors will be selling products and services. Again, that's May 17th from 11 to 4 at the Frederick Douglass Park Family Center. This event is sponsored by IAAQLI. Okay.
Turns to a therapy session very quick.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you think the issue in the community with the bad customer experience, the number one reason is trauma? Is that?
I would say the number one reason, but
it's up there.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up
it's
there.
Up there in the top 2 or 3 for sure.
I think I'm finding out that trauma just plays a part in a lot of the problems that we have just in general, right? In business, outside of business, raising our kids that act out, different things like that. But in our community, it's hard to, like, how do you deal with someone who doesn't feel there's trauma, right?
But I think that starts with education on
okay.
what trauma is. So when you do trauma-informed training, you are informing them of what trauma looks like. And I don't think if we haven't experienced like the big traumas, like being abused, things like that, we don't consider it trauma. But there's a lot. There's a lot in just, always having to explain yourself growing up, so now you over explaining, as an adult, or, having to or always getting yelled at. So now you have you might be very passive, like, because you're afraid of being those are little things that are norm to us, growing up. Yeah. But it's a reaction.
Get in here. Sit down somewhere. I know. I might be traumatized.
I think when people learn how to work through those things, they may understand. You may still be that person, but there's a certain leader in that passive person. You have to learn how to be that person instead of just submitting to anything anybody says, just giving stuff away and all kinds of stuff. Okay.
So your classes for teens and adults, like, are those classes, how often do you have them? How long are they, and how can people get connected to them?
So now that we are officially established in our nonprofit and 501c3?
Yep.
501c3. We actually plan to do community classes once a month beginning in March. That is the goal. So we're working on our partnerships on where they'll actually be located. And our next teen cohort begins March 17th.
Okay.
And yes. So we meet on Mondays from 6 to 8.
Okay. And then
sign up www.cleaderstraininginstitute.com.
Okay. I was gonna say how do they connect? How do they connect? Now that's your next teen class, right? And then what about your adult class?
So our next adult class we haven't scheduled yet. So we'll schedule the rest of the year by the end of this month. But our next event will be our Beauty Experience Conference, which will be May 3rd and 4th, which I'm super excited about. It's our second one. So I'm super excited about that.
And then they can they buy tickets, or where can they get information about the event?
Beauty Experience Conference is on our website, www.cleaderstraininginstitute.com. But it's also on Eventbrite. It is free for consumers on Saturday and $175 for beauty professionals.
Nice. That's nice. And then what happens at the event? Like, what should we look forward to at this event?
No, so Saturday is our consumer night. So everything we do is client-centric, customer-centric. So on Saturday, it'll be networking with beauty professionals. So we'll have speed dating with consumers and beauty professionals, so you can find ones that actually care about you. We'll have a consumer panel where consumers can talk to beauty professionals about their experiences and, just how it's affected them and what they're looking for. And then we're also going to have a panel of beauty professionals that are going to talk about affordable beauty care that you can get at home.
I love it. I love it. Okay, and tell us when that is again.
Yes,
and how
sorry.
What was it? Oh, and there'll be vendors there, right? And so, are you still taking vendors?
Yes, so we are still taking vendors. It is limited availability for vendors, but it's $50 fee for vendors on Saturday. You can sign up on our website, I believe.
Yeah, send me an email.
Okay, what's your email?
David Anderson at SEALeaderstraininginstitute.com.
Okay, so we have the event coming up. We have the teen classes coming up. and we have the adult classes in the works, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we can get all of that where again?
www.caesarstraininginstitute.com.
Now, I'm going to come back. How has being a black business shaped your strategies?
At first, I was shouting from the rooftop.
Mm.
And now I want people to understand that I'm a black business owner and not just a black business. And I think there's a difference. I think
Okay.
people will value you based on saying like, oh, it's a black business. No, I'm a black business owner that's running a successful black founded organization.
I love that.
So I have to look at it a little differently because sometimes, like I said, we can hold ourselves back by how we try to prove a point when the point is not really clear in the first place.
Words matter.
Yeah, it does matter. And I think it's taking some time for me to realize that and being in different rooms to realize that I was part of the problem because I kind of minimized a little bit too. Yeah, we are a black business. We are proudly black founded, but we are a black brand organization that services all people.
Okay. I love that. I do. I love that because words do matter, right? And words speak life into people. So I think it's important, I'm not just a black business. I'm a black business owner. That pride comes out when you introduce those additional words into your title, right? So I love that. So what advice would you give to new businesses out here that are scared to get started? They want to get started, but there's this fear. I'm not really sure. Or just the business owner who is working and they're like, well, I want to start a business, but I'm not really sure when, how, that type thing. What kind of advice would you give them? And we know where they can go. We know where they can go. But what kind of advice would you give them just to kind of relieve some of that fear and give them the go ahead to tap into C leaders?
I think we both can answer, but I'll answer first. First, get your customer experience in order. It is much easier to have it right out the gate than it is to correct behaviors from customers. So that's a good start. Just from a customer experience perspective. Be clear on who your customer is. That will cause you it will save you a lot of time in the long run. Also, take your time. Do not learn information from social media. Don't take action from social media advice. Take your time and get a mentor. And I'm sorry, I don't think a mentor should be paid. I'm just gonna put it out there. I mean, truly, if you think about somebody that's truly invested in like your development and growth, take the time to interview people and see what that looks like. But get a good mentor and just shut out social media.
Okay, I got you. Now, I want you to answer too, but before I have Mr. Anderson answer, tell us about what exactly the customer experience is.
Oh, say less. No, so a customer experience is truly an entire interaction a customer or potential customer has with your brand or any brand related stimuli. So when you talk marketing and colors and how that makes people feel and interact with people, that's a part of the experience. So it's truly everything made up. And I tell you all the time, if you've worked with me and I've designed your experience and you can hand this to your marketing partner, they're not the one because it's all aligned. If I'm telling you the experience based on the person you're trying to reach, that's the person they should be marketing to. Gotcha. So it's the entire interaction. And that also goes back to how you're going to keep them in that cycle of, dealing with your brand. So the surveys, the loyalty programs, all of that from beginning to end, that's the customer experience.
Okay.
And I'm just going to say quick because I know we're short on time, but that's not the same thing as customer service. Customer service is a part of that, and it's how you help a customer navigate throughout that experience, but it's not the whole experience.
It's not the whole experience.
A customer service can absolutely get you a sale, but it's not going to keep people coming back.
Thank you for clarifying that because I know that a lot of us out there was thinking The customer experience and customer service are kind of the same thing. So thank you for clearing that up. Now, back to you, sir.
You'll never do it if you don't start to do it.
Ah,
So
okay.
you got to start somewhere. It may not work the first time, may not work the second time, but you have to start
Okay.
and then get fully educated. Do tons of research. Like I said, try not to follow the social media thing because everybody's life is good on social media.
Oh, and it'll be so confusing.
Right.
It'll be extremely confusing.
Right. So just do your own research and be passionate about what you want to do. It. Don't do it for money. Do it for the love of whatever it is, as a service or a product or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And just put your all into it and take your time. It's not gonna jump overnight, and don't quit your job too soon.
Oh,
That's
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So don't sit on it. If you're gonna do it, get out there and do it.
Do it.
But do your research, and don't quit your day job until you know the other job is going to pay the bills. Is that?
Even still.
Even
try
still.
Try to stay at that job as long as you possibly can.
As long as you can manage them both.
As long as
right?
you can manage them both, because insurance is no
yeah.
Medical insurance is expensive.
It is. I can imagine, because I don't know, but I can imagine that private insurance outside of group insurance is probably as expensive as Cobra.
Yeah.
Because Cobra's outrageous.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I never compared it to Cobra, but yes.
It's a Cobra. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that advice was, you guys heard it, that advice was absolutely phenomenal. Is there anything else that C Leaders Institute has coming up, or anything that you want to tell the people out there? Anything else at all?
Just keep doing the work. It'll pay off. And if you're free on December 7th, come join us at the 2025 C Leader Awards.
So the last question I have for you is, what's in your bag? What is your biggest asset or gain thus far?
I'll say our people.
Ooh.
And I'll say collaborative relationships.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Our people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Our people, collaborative relationships. That's in your bag. Okay. Well, you heard it here. Tune in next time to get the bag, business assets and gains, where success is in your bag.